Welcome, and thanks for joining us for this edition of Scope. Prime Minister James Marape was given an opportunity to see rural West New Britain when he visited the province in this recent week. He flew to remote Amulut and Maklos Islands in Kendrian. The visit followed the Wafi Golpu Landowners Consultative Meeting in Ley Morbe Province. During the two-day trip, he officiated at a number of infrastructure-related events. Importantly was the announcement of several major impact projects, including the upgrade of Kimbe General Hospital from a Level 5 hospital to a possible Level 6 health facility.
The two-day visit by Prime Minister James Marape was a blessing in disguise to the people of West New Britain Province. The Prime Minister flew in straight from Morobe Province on a chopper where he was attending a meeting with the landowners of the Wafi Golpu project. The PM flew into Maklos Island in the Kendrian Gloucester district where he opened a 5-in-1 classroom. The classrooms cost 100,000 kina and comes from the PSIP funding. He was welcomed by Regional MP Sasindran Mutual and a number of local leaders. Thousands gathered at Wogai Park in the heart of Kimbe town to welcome him from his visit to remote Amulut in the Kendrian Gloucester district. Governor Francis Maneke led the welcoming of Prime Minister Marape in Kimbe by firstly thanking the Marape-led government for the various projects earmarked for the province.
Prime Minister, your visit is very important to our people, particularly in these turbulent times of PNG. Indeed, your visit makes a significant landmark for the people of West New Britain. We are most fortunate that with many other requests from provinces, you have chosen to visit West New Britain for the second time as Prime Minister. Thank you very much, Prime Minister.
Governor Maneke also pointed out that despite having 7 major tribes of the province with 20 different languages, his people always united for the good of development. At the gathering, the Prime Minister was reminded of the major impact projects in the province that have yet to be implemented.
We have challenged and worked over these constraints, and we will continue to do so in the remaining months to end this financial year. For this reason, I'm glad to announce my dual capacity as a member for Talasia and the Governor of West New Britain that we deliver the following projects and programs with our limited final resources in the areas of infrastructure, health, education, and economic sectors.
He also acknowledged his people for working hard in their oil palm plantations to support their livelihoods and also bring some level of tangible development to their own province. The Prime Minister joined Maneke in thanking the indigenous people of West New Britain, especially the Nakanai tribe, for allowing other people to venture into agriculture through the oil palm block scheme. The Prime Minister pledged a 5 million kina funding for the purchase of a ship to service the south coastal parts of the province. Marape continued with the announcement of an approved 450 million kina for the completion of the New Britain Highway and an additional 50 million kina infrastructural support over the next 4 years to link Kimbe to Kendrian Gloucester district in the south coast. These investments are part of the massive Connect PNG program and infrastructure development initiative by the government to take focus of road development in rural areas of PNG.
After Kimbe to Kokopo will feed from these roads called Promio, go down along Kendrian, go to Gloucester, south side, round him, east, me no get Togosem, but making Mogadalo next year or this year, that's all. Money, time, take time, but plan, we will put in finish, one the law, but we pass in November, and we call him Connect PNG Act.
The Prime Minister also released 3.4 million kina funding to the West New Britain provincial government for the upgrade of Kimbe town roads into a 4-lane drive to ease heavy traffic.
Road, money road because car no brand nothing. Man sit on no car and panim, press lo drink cola, press lo refuel again, fix him tire again, spending money along the way, long boy smoke na kenesen. road in Bakaram country. For the first time, we have a 20-year blueprint. Every year, we're putting 1 billion, 1 billion, 1 billion. We're opening up not just East and West New Britain Highway, but right throughout our country. We're going to have major road instead of before government, putting the sun up in Port Moresby, in a Port Moresby, in a Port Moresby.
Marape appealed to the people in Gazelle who are opposing the construction of the New Britain Highway to allow this road connectivity to take place. He explained that roads meant income generation opportunities, which is good in terms of improvement of livelihoods and the economy. Meantime, work is starting in October this year on the West New Britain Provincial Hospital, a modern state-of-the-art Level 5 facility worth 300 million kina. The Prime Minister said the project is currently in contract issuance stage with a funding source already identified.
Housing for you have 300 million kina worth of housing. Me plapurum finish. Tetapi me go inside. Me deferring groundbreaking until contract me play issue. We can come back one time contractor and me making groundbreaking. The facility me plapurum finish meaning well of kissing money. Me plapurum finish. You have a 300 million kina hospital here. Next will be Southern Islands and Hela Province, Gulf and Western Province.
West New Britain Provincial Hospital is the first hospital project under the Hospital Upgrading Program, which Marape approved when he took office as Prime Minister in 2019. Other provincial hospitals are being upgraded as well in what is expected to be a massive transformation of the country's health sector.
My job is to build the hospital, the road, the power, the connectivity, the school and everything else, but your work is to help build our country and build yourself up. That's why we're building me at Mito Village. No more China company come inside, or Coco company come inside, or German company come inside, or white man, look this him, license for cutting DY. Cutting DY must come business law, Papa Gran Oli at Mito. Mito Village, Loy Kama Village. You no can get up now, you talk more. And me cutting now, you kiss him now, you go and give him license for one man get. You know, contribute long, take him back resource for country limit.
Because of the population of West New Britain, the new provincial hospital will be at a level 5 with the capacity to open into level 6.
When we come back, Digicel Foundation is out again this year to capture and honor those men who have touched lives everywhere in PNG. The Man of Honor campaign is on again and nominations are open. Since its inception in 2015, the Digicel Foundation Man of Honor campaign has been shining a light on little-known heroes in communities around the country. Each year, this campaign receives hundreds of nominations for men who the country may not have heard of, by people whom these men have had an impact on.
It really is true what they say. Not all heroes wear capes. For the 6th year running, the Digicel Foundation's Men of Honor campaign has been on a quest to find these unsung male heroes and role models who move in silence, from the underbelly of bustling towns and cities to the underdeveloped and underappreciated trenches in remote locations stuck in a time freeze. Over the last 6 years, the campaign has received 771 nominations. Out of those nominations, 83 men have been awarded in the categories of leadership, education, sports mentors, young men of honor, and entrepreneurship. These men have gone on to do great things. One of the most notable is 2015 to 2016 winner of the Community Ingenuity Award, Vincent Kumura. Kumura encouraged youths to stay away from drugs and illicit activities by engaging them in socio-economic activities he initiated, with hopes to make his isolated snowpass in Bundi, Medang province a beautiful tourist destination. Kumura also applied for a classroom and library on behalf of a remote mission station orphanage at the foot of Mount William. The foundation built this classroom in 2019 and 2020 financial year. In June last year, Kumura led a group of 10 men on a Travel to Change initiative to conduct COVID-19 awareness and basic medical treatment to the people along the 68.5-kilometer Central Bismarck Range corridor from Bundi to Jimmy. This endeavor was supported by the Digicel Foundation. Also in 2020, Vincent Kumora climbed Mount William to raise funds for a new ambulance. In 2021, an ambulance was generously donated by the Sir Brian Bell Foundation to service 20 remote communities in the Upper Bundi in Madang province. Over in the big city of Port Moresby, a young man was also creating change, beginning in his own home. Dagia Aka, Young Man of Honor awardee for the campaign's third season, spoke during this season's launch about how the award he received changed his violent father.
Growing up, my father was a violent man. And until that moment in time, he was still a violent man. But suddenly the work of his son was being pushed out for everyone to see, and his son was being labeled a champion against violence. That night, when the awards ceremony took place, I could not attend because being the volunteer that I was somewhere out in the bush. So my mother and my father attended in my stead. They received my award, and I came back the next week, asked them if they enjoyed it, and we continued with our lives. But after that night, a few things started to change. My father, after seeing the work that I was doing, started to change. The screaming stopped. The anger stopped. The tensions stopped. And the relationship started to heal. And I'd like to think that that's the power of the Man of Honor campaign. I'd like to think that that's the power of getting positive stories and putting it out for people to see that change is possible.
This season, the foundation's CEO, Serena Sasingan, announced that there would be changes made to the categories for awards. Nominees will now be judged on their involvement in peacebuilding, and awards given to one man from each region.
So for this season, we have decided that off the back of seeing particularly what happened in 2020 with the case of Jenalyn Kennedy, the passing of Jenalyn Kennedy, and what we saw with men really stepping up and taking action and using their voice through the Man Up campaign, we said, what if we actually started using these awards instead of awarding men in different categories, education, sports, community leadership, like we had done before. We really want to put a spotlight on violence and peace building. Who are the men out there in the community really taking a stand to address violence specifically, protect human rights, and build peace?
Nominations for the awards close in October.
After the break, Imelda Tupi Tiamanda's family demand a fair trial after courts free her alleged murderers by striking out the case over lack of evidence. Family of late Imelda Tupi Tiamanda will not go down without a fight to get fair justice for her death. Mendi Town came alive a few days ago when her tribesmen held a peaceful protest against the court decision to have her case struck out over lack of evidence. The Coalition of Parliamentarians Against Gender-Based Violence have reacted to this in support of the Tiamanda family.
A peace protest march was held in Mendi Town a few days ago by the family of late Imelda Tupi Tiamanda, who was allegedly murdered in May this year. Imelda's husband, Dr. Simon Temo, and two others were implicated in her death. Mount Hagen police had intercepted the vehicle that Dr. Temo was driving with Imelda's body inside. The corpse was wrapped in blue tarpaulin and was being transported to an unknown destination when they were stopped at a police checkpoint. After the discovery of her corpse, Imelda's body was taken to Mount Hagen General Hospital. Pictures of the state of her body were then taken and shared on social media, sparking public outrage across the country. The trio were arrested and charged for her alleged murder. However, last week, late Imelda's family were presented with devastating news. The committal court in Mount Hagen had struck out the case, stating there was insufficient evidence. The family handed over a 4-page petition to the authorities in front of the Menditown police station. Hundreds gathered to witness it. The petition was addressed to the Chief Magistrate of Papua New Guinea Magisterial Services, the Senior Provincial Magistrate, Mount Hagen District Court, the Senior Provincial Magistrate, Mendi District Court, the Provincial Police Commander, Mount Hagen Police Station, the Provincial Police Commander Martin Lakari, and ACP Highlands Divisional Command. In the petition, the family listed 6 agendas, starting with a request to investigate the magisterial services over the committal court decision, negligence of viewing a no-case submission filed by the state, setting a bad precedent to similar cases, sufficient evidence and prima facie was shown, indicating alleged corruption in the judiciary system, and the indefinite closure of Mendi District Court. The petition was then signed by 13 members representing the Kambiri villages, Teta, Wakwak, Umbiubi, Longo, Kape, Kambeyekipu, Wa, Mes, and Kiburu of the Mendi Urban Local Level Government. Lady Melda's family held placards emphasizing the injustice they've been served with. Her tribesmen, clad in black and clay, say that Lady Melda deserves a fair trial. The Coalition of Parliamentarians Against GBV have also expressed their extreme horror at what the outcome was in Lady Melda's case. On 28 August, a PNG judge gave a man who beat his wife to death a suspended sentence citing extenuating circumstances as the man paid his wife's parents 10,000 kina for their loss. And now a district court magistrate has struck out charges against 3 men as lacking evidence, despite police allegedly witnessing them transporting a dead body. The Coalition of Parliamentarians expressed their disappointment through a public statement. NCD Governor and co-chairman of the Coalition of Parliamentarians to End GBV and a member of the Special Parliamentary Committee on GBV, Powers Pakop, expressed that these types of injustices break down the system of government and people will no longer believe that the government is functioning because it cannot guarantee their rights or protection anymore. They have called for the Attorney General to intervene immediately.
And if we are not careful, we shall become numb to it. But we must not accept this. We must do something drastic to counter this rise in evil against our women folk and children. And I say children because they are even more vulnerable and prone to be silent victims, given that they cannot speak or act to save themselves. Countless many are abused and harmed, even killed in our midst, and we do utter nothing about this. We read about it, we hear about it, and now we even see it on the internet, and we still do nothing. How can we stand here and pray and claim to be leaders when we do nothing about the most vulnerable in our society?
Governor for Oro, Gary Jufa, added that GBV-related cases keep getting handled poorly and that justice is not being delivered through the court systems. He says there is a serious need to review the investigations and prosecution's capacity in the country.
We must do something about this. Our people are crying for justice. In fact, I'm informed that there was an attempt or even an idea by members of the community to burn down the Hagen courthouse because they were so disgusted at this.
Charles Abel, chairman of the Special Parliamentary Committee on GBV, stated that the court decision is unacceptable and has made a mockery of the term justice and the justice system. Another coalition member suggested that the police college be upgraded to an institution that offers diploma or degree courses to include criminology, prosecution, forensic investigations and the like for everyone that works in the justice sector. Only 1 month ago, Parliament tabled a GBV report that included 20 recommendations for the justice system. The question now is, what is being done to implement them?
That ends another episode of Scope. A kind reminder to apply simple measures to prevent the transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance.